Hey everyone, I'm Jared.
And I'm Chantel.
Welcome to the Poured Out Podcast. And we're back, finally.
We took so long off, I forgot what our podcast was called.
Yeah, it's been a while. Longer than we intended.
Yes, by a couple weeks.
By at least a couple weeks. We definitely intended to have one out, I think, the first week of January.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. But that did not happen. And now there is a cat trying to get its way into this room.
Yeah.
So, see if that gets picked up.
I feel like that's kind of that just is an example of how life has been. Trying to do something and then there's a cat meowing outside the door.
Yeah, so the last couple weeks of, well, I guess the last, I'm messed up on timeline now. Last week of December, kind of. Last few days of December?
Yes.
First few days of January? Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was off work for like 2 weeks around Christmas, and I completely lost track of what day was what.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm still, like, this last week was my first full week back
5 days
at work. And I'm just now getting back to like, okay, this is what a week is.
So it's just been all a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so the last few days of December, what day?
It was December 30th.
Okay, so
Friday.
December 30th, we unexpectedly got a phone call about the 2 foster kids that we had in our home for
on and
off 3 years kind of thing.
Yeah.
That they basically needed a place to stay for
the
weekend, which we knew doesn't necessarily mean the weekend.
Yeah.
Usually means much more than that. So yeah, that was on the Friday, which was like the first option when we would have started to get back into the podcast. Yeah. They ended up staying a little over a week.
10 days, I think.
Yeah, a week and a half-ish. So yeah, we decided let's just not try to squeeze a podcast in here while we're figuring this all out and what's going to happen. And so yeah, that's why we're 2 days delayed. I don't know. Anything else you want? 2 weeks, sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks delayed.
Yeah, no, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. Nothing, obviously it wasn't permanent with them coming back. They just needed a place for a few days or a week and a half. But instead of trying to do a podcast at the same time, we just figured it wasn't going to work. We weren't getting a lot of sleep.
Thought we would wait till we had some more sleep and we didn't have to worry about them banging around and meowing outside the door.
So yeah, sorry to I'm sure all our fans are really had a hard time. They missed out on these last 2 weeks.
Waiting for a podcast, sitting on their phone, just waiting, refreshing, waiting
for that subscription ding or whatever. I don't know. I don't have subscriptions notifications turned on, but whatever that does. But I'm sure people do for our
for sure.
podcast.
100%.
Yeah. So sorry for the tears that I'm sure you had for this.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So we actually had a plan. Which
we did. We had like 4 weeks planned out.
Yeah, which is much better than the plan like 10 minutes before we're like, we need to record something.
Yeah.
Which sometimes happens.
Yeah.
But we had a plan. We were going to talk about New Year's stuff, goals, resolutions, that kind of thing. And it's still relevant. It's still beginning of January.
I think it's actually better now because you get an onslaught at the beginning of the year and you're all like, I'm going to do it. But now we're 2 weeks in and people that are like maybe falling off the wagon, this is a good, like, January 1st doesn't matter. So start anytime.
True.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably there's a good amount of people that if you're like New Year's resolution type people have already given up on your New Year's resolution. I actually looked it up because I was curious. Well, and like 75% of stats are made up on the spot. So I'm not sure how valid this is, but there was one site I saw that only 9% of people keep their New Year's resolutions, and 25% quit within the first week, and 80% quit by the end of February.
Oh, I'm surprised that wasn't the end of January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
9% succeed.
Apparently, I don't know what their definition of succeed was.
Well, yeah, it's like how many resolutions? Are we just talking like one resolution? But
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Possibly true stats you found.
Random stats that I didn't make those up, but somebody else might have. I don't know. Yeah. So I feel like haven't really made New Year's resolutions for quite some time.
This was your idea to talk about this originally.
Yeah, but because you don't really make New Year's resolutions, but you often have goals.
I make goals
and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I picked a topic that you can just kind of talk about.
I see how you do this. Yeah, cool. Why don't you make resolutions or goals or whatever you want to call it?
Because I'm one of those people that fails in the first week. Maybe not the first week. I have in the past, but yeah, I don't think I've found them to be very effective in actually making like a long-term.
You're thinking habits, right?
That's what I'm thinking for this year. And like, so I feel like maybe not most, but when I think of a New Year's resolution, it's like, I'm going to do this this year. I'm going to accomplish this goal or right. whatever. And like the classic example is like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's the perfect classic example. Yeah.
So, and then I think a lot of times what happens is people do things that are not sustainable to achieve that goal. So maybe you lose 10 pounds by May, but then by January, you've gained those 10 pounds back because you met your goal in a way that wasn't really maybe like a lifestyle change.
Right.
And so then you just end up kind of back to square one.
Check that box and then you just move on with your life and then spiral back to where you were before. Yeah, that's fair.
And so I've been thinking about this year, trying to develop healthier habits, I guess. Or healthier habits. Yeah, probably healthier habits. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As opposed to I feel like it's different than a resolution. Because in my mind, it was always like, oh, I failed. I didn't do whatever I said I was going to do, and therefore now I can quit because I failed.
Fail early enough so you don't have to try anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't approach resolutions, my goals at the beginning of the year, as a typical resolution. Mm-hmm. I put things on my list that are super simple things. One of mine was get a haircut. So I could check that box early. It's not anything I had to work towards. I just had to go do that. But then I like to make bigger goals as well. I like goals.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a pessimist like you who just...
It's going to fail anyway. Yeah. Why bother?
Yep. I at least can kid myself for longer than you can.
So what kind of goals do you make then?
Oh.
Other than cutting your hair?
There was a lot. I had some reading goals. Like specific books I want to read, specific amounts or different types. What else did I have? That was. Are you talking about
last year, or are you talking about this year coming up?
That was, both. I have set reading goals for the last few years.
Yeah, well, that one's not surprising.
Yeah. My goals from last year, I was very 50-50 on whether or not I completed them. I feel like. One of my goals was to walk on days that were warmer than -30. And we almost always did that. There's a few exceptions. And then when I completely failed at was getting caught up on photo albums last year. Mm. So far behind. But I have a new way to do it this year. So I'll succeed this year.
That sounds like a New Year's resolution.
Well, no, actually, this is brilliant.
This will be the year.
I came across somebody who does photo books, which our photo books get looked at more than our photo albums.
Yes.
She caps hers out at 20 pages, which I think is not enough pages, but that lifted a weight off of me thinking, oh, I don't have to put every single picture I've taken into here.
But do you think it would be harder then to figure out which pictures you want to include? Like, would that take
don't
longer?
think so. Not longer total, at least. But we'll see. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
It's only January.
I would agree though, like, especially in the digital camera age when you have like thousands of pictures, it's like you don't need to print every one.
Yeah. Well, and I don't print every one, but I print, our photo books have quite a few pages, and just realizing that having something is better than having nothing. So
yeah, having a few pages of that year is better than having just like 2,000 digital files somewhere that never get printed.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what your initial question was, but
Goals.
I succeed some and on some and fail on others, but I feel like trying to get a little bit more ahead each year is my ultimate goal.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like just building on last year kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I like to look back, like from the photo book example. If I failed last year, like what can I do different this year? And see if I just need to scrap a goal or modify it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's one and sometimes it's the other.
Yeah, well, I think like sometimes you might set a goal and then realize like this isn't really a priority for me.
Yes.
You realize throughout the year, and then it's like it doesn't really matter if you do it or not for some goals. I mean, some goals are more important than others probably, but
yeah,
there are goals that you could set that you realize, partway through the year that it's just not really important or beneficial anyway. So.
And sometimes that's good. It's like, oh, okay, so this thing isn't a priority for me. So then I can stop thinking about it.
Yeah, kind of like it still accomplishes the goal of like not mentally thinking about that thing anymore.
It really does.
If you did it or didn't do it, whether you realize it's important or not. Yeah.
What do you all have here for notes? You look like you have a lot of notes, so it looks like
I
you have a
don't.
lot
They're just
to say.
made up statistics.
Can we talk about a word for the year?
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that because that's something you've done for, what did you say, like 15 years, you think?
No. I think this is year 12 or 13.
Right.
13?
Like Reka's age, yeah.
Yeah. So for the last 13 years, I picked a word or a phrase for the year. And I think that's really good because then the pressure of like, oh, what are my goals again this year? Well, a word comes to you a lot faster than a list of 20 goals.
So how did that start?
It started, I think, in the scrapbook community. There is a person that just started it, I think, as a scrapbook spread, and then somehow it's turned into something.
Back when you were in the scrapbook community.
No, it wasn't even then. I just came across her somehow. I wasn't even scrapbooking. And then it just has carried over because I've enjoyed it so much.
How many words of the year or phrases do you remember from the past 12 or 13?
Yeah, that's a good one. Last year I had joy. The year before that I had love one another. Some years I had multiple. So one year I had do, one was move, one was pray, hospitality, discipline.
So why, what does that, how does that help you, or what does that do, having a word for the year?
Well, I feel like it gives me more of a focus. So this year my word is trust, and then I usually have a few verses that go hand in hand with that, and it's just a really good reminder throughout the year what I'm trying to focus on for the year. So last year my word was joy, after I felt like the year before was really heavy. And so I wanted to focus on being joyful, and I didn't always succeed, but I feel like I did better than the year before.
But having, like, reminding yourself of that word probably kept you from, like, maybe spiraling sometimes when you might have in previous years.
And then I'm like a super ultra nerd when it comes to goals, and I like...
Oh, really?
I print them out in a binder, and I look at them on a regular basis because I use that binder every morning to write in my line a day. Oh, I feel like this is just confessional for my nerdiness. So I usually look at my goals, but then at the top of my goals, I have my word for the year as a reminder. So, and I like to look at my goals because then it's like, oh, what can I check off? Because I like to check boxes. So, Yeah.
You're very organized with your goals, but you're also like very analog
Okay.
with your goals.
Tell me more. How am I
Well,
analog with my goals?
opposite of digital.
Yeah.
You don't use like digital goal tracker type. Like you like to have everything printed and written out.
Yeah.
And,
So I like wrote my goals on Notion with the little boxes, and then I printed it out so I can like physically color them in with a highlighter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Just found that interesting.
But I have moved over, like we've talked before about organization. I've moved over from my like daily planning to digital. I used to be completely analog for that as well. But no, there's something about, I don't know. I don't think I would look at the goals as much if they were digital as I do with them being a physical thing.
Yeah. I think part of the reason, I was just thinking like, why don't I set goals? Or, I mean, not that I don't set goals necessarily. Do I? I don't know.
No, you don't set goals.
I don't really, no.
I couldn't tell you a single goal you set in the 16 years we've been married.
I'm such a go-getter.
It's not like you're just a slovenly person lying on the couch
I
not
just do
doing
nothing.
anything.
Yeah, but I think that you're a dreamer.
Yes.
Personality.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like a long-term big picture, and I am much more like day-to-day, down-to-earth, like
realist,
into the details. Yeah. And I find, so I've like had probably resolutions kind of like that in the past, but then like real life kind of hits, and then you can't meet those really nitty-gritty goals because you kind of have to be more flexible. So I feel like your goals are more like broad or like malleable.
Well, and I feel like they're kind of generally working towards a bigger goal.
Right.
But yeah, you're not a dreamer. So that does make a difference with goals.
Yeah.
For sure.
Makes sense.
That being said, you have done like Bible reading plans.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's maybe not necessarily a goal, but like at the beginning of the year, you say, I'm going to read through the Bible this year, and you do it.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe you're not saying I'm setting a goal, but...
See, and that's where I think that's a habit.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah.
And so that's why thinking of this year is like, yeah, there's some other habits that I want to create for myself because, yeah, like to me, reading through the Bible in a year isn't really I don't know. I guess it's a goal, but I've done it.
It's
I don't
just
know
a bit
how
of a
many.
given for you.
It's just that's something that I do because that's a habit, or like kind of reading the Bible in the morning or whatever. Like those aren't something I need to make a goal for because they're already established habits.
True. But like last year we did the Bible recap. This year you're listening to the Bible. So you've modified the...
Yeah, I do it in different ways, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't do nothing. Sometimes I do things.
You do lots of things. You just don't set goals about them.
No. But I still manage to get things done. So, it's...
You don't like that, get that rush from that box checking that I do.
I do, though. I like checking boxes. So much so that I am purposely not following a Bible reading plan this year where it's like, read this this is what you read for the day, check the box. So I'm purposely not doing that because I don't want to associate reading the Bible with checking a box all the time. Yeah. Not that was the only thing, reading other things other than the Bible reading plan, but there was a lot of like there is satisfaction in like, yes, I finished that, but I want to just enjoy reading the Bible. Right. And so, yeah, I'm not checking any boxes there this year.
So then for your Bible reading, are you just listening? Cause you're also reading the Bible, like studying different things, but you are listening, you're going to listen to the Bible through, right?
That's the plan. Yep.
It was your plan/goal.
Yes, that's my goal.
Are you doing like a specific amount?
No.
Cool.
No, it's like because I'm listening to it. I don't really have, I guess, context as to how long. Like I've listened to chunks before, but I haven't just listened to the Bible all the way through, and so I know how long it might take to read a few chapters, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of listening for the time that I have in the morning, and
that's cool.
It's, yeah, I think I'm like in Leviticus somewhere. I don't even know where I am because I'm just it's like halfway through Leviticus already.
Okay, so you're like way ahead of where a Bible reading 1 year plan would be.
Yeah, probably. Well, because like I would listen to, like when I'm driving into work.
Right.
Even that one day is like I listened to most of Exodus that day, I think.
Oh, cool.
So it really doesn't take that much time to listen to it. And it's like a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Like I've enjoyed listening to pieces, but I feel like, and you've noticed this when you've done like the Bible in like 90 days or whatever, that you get so much more appreciation for like the story as a whole by going through it so much quicker. And even if you're not picking up on like all the little details that you would if you're spending more time, like just like doing a chapter in a day or something, like really studying it, I'm getting a better like overview of the whole thing and how it all fits together. It doesn't feel like everything is just all separate. It's just one continuous story.
Sunday school stories, they actually are all one story.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's been really good to do it that way. So yeah, I don't know how long it'll take me or what I'll do when I'm done listening to it. Maybe I'll listen to it again or start reading it, but
cool.
Yeah.
So you do have one goal for the year.
But I wouldn't call it a goal.
Well, then I think you're just being stubborn.
Is your goal to eat every day?
Okay, well.
Right? That's just something that you do.
Yeah.
Because it's something like it's a habit and it's a need. And so I don't feel like, I mean, I could check out, or I could make a lot of goals. Like. Yeah,
but this year, okay, we're not going to argue about this.
Sure we are. That's why we're here.
No. We talked about arguing before. I'll just let you have this one.
No, I'm it's serious though.
Because you're doing it different this year. I feel like that is a goal. It makes it like, yes, it's still the habit of doing your Bible reading, but
yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess to me a goal is like something that I wasn't going to do anyway.
Or those are the goals that you were going to do anyway are the best ones to put on the list because they're easy boxes to check.
Okay. Well, eat food is going to be every day is going to be drink at least 3 cups of tea, drink 500 liters of tea in a year.
Oh, we did the math.
Yeah.
Jared drinks about 500 liters of tea each year.
Which sounds really bad, but it's actually not that bad.
We have a 1,000 liter water tank outside to catch rainfall and rainwater. He drinks half of that a year in tea, at least.
Yeah. What did we go on? 3 cups a day, or
I
three
think so.
3 in a bit? I think we did, because some often 4 cups a day now.
Yeah. That's a lot when you see it all together.
So maybe that could be my goal is 1,000 liters.
Beat your See, great goal to set.
Yeah. So yeah, to me a goal is something that, or like, I guess I'm thinking of it as like a resolution, I guess. To me, it's like something that you have struggled with in the past or something that you would like to improve, I guess, at doing. So I guess that's why I don't.
Yeah, that is like the resolution mindset, which I don't go into my goals for the year with, but I can understand that. Yeah. But this year you're focusing on habits.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, trying to build some.
Would you say you have a goal to work on habits?
Sure. If you really want me to have a goal, you can say my goal is to work on creating good habits related to I don't know. I have some good habits, I think, with like you're talking about like Bible reading, right? I feel like that's a habit already where it's just not something I have to really think about doing for the most part. Obviously there's days that don't go as well and you wake up late and you just but it's a habit. Drinking tea, it's definitely a habit.
It's a habit. Yeah.
I could really go for a tea right now.
I left my water on the ledge over there.
Oh,
Speaking of,
it's way over there.
Yeah, way over there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the things that I have a really hard time sticking to is like any kind of exercise thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm sure I've made like exercising goals in the past and obviously have failed them all eventually because I'm not still consistently doing anything.
Yeah.
And so that is one of my habits that I would like to create, is just more like movement in a day, because I just sit all day, which is my job description.
According to my grandpa. You mean you just sit all day?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, desk job, I feel like I need to create some healthy habits around like getting up, because I can very easily just focus on something and like work on a task for a few hours without moving, which is not good for my back or anything else in my body.
Yeah.
And so trying to build a habit of, like just moving more throughout the day. But yeah, I don't know why, like exercise is, I hate it.
And you often see, my thing is I haven't failed as many times with my exercising as you have, because I just don't set the goals. But you do often start an exercise routine of sorts, and then not.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
For a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't start them. So like, I'm not judging you, because that week is better than the week that I didn't do. But
yeah, I feel like I'm getting old and I can't just not do anything and be healthy long term. It's for like, I feel like there's a certain level of taking care of your own body, right? That when you don't move a lot in your occupation, can pay for that long term, and then end up not being able to do things that I want to do, or like serve in a way I want to serve, because my body just can't do it anymore or whatever.
Yeah, so you don't want that to something preventable that you could have prevented to stop you from doing things in the future. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I wish, I'll figure something out yet. I'll join you in this habit formation yet. Once I figure out an easy to check box.
Is that a goal?
A goal to set a goal. A goal to start a habit.
Yeah.
But
is that a goal?
But I don't have a specific yet.
But do you have a goal to figure out a specific goal to set?
Sure. There you go. That's a goal.
So you can start a habit. So you have a goal to set a goal to start a habit?
Sure. That sounds good to me.
Okay. That's way down the line then, so you don't
have to exactly. I got to give some buffer. Yeah. That actually reminds me. So if you learn anything about goals, for some reason they taught them in like college. SMART goals.
Okay.
You know, like the whole, I don't remember what they stand for: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time.
Sounds right.
Apparently I do remember what they stand for.
Apparently you do.
I don't do that. I set random arbitrary goals and I'm like, well, I'll know if I hit this or not. Like, 1 year, one of my goals was to live more present. I was like,
it's pretty hard to measure.
How do you measure that?
It's not a very smart goal.
No, but I still set it.
Did you achieve it?
I think I did that year.
How do you know?
Well, you reflect. It's like, if your goal, no one's grading you on it, you can say if you met it or not.
Yeah, I mean, those obviously work in like a workplace a lot of times, where it's like you have a goal for a project or something, and if you can't measure it, how do you know if you succeeded?
Fair, yes. But I feel like there's that pressure to set those kind of goals.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily work for like your life. Yeah, because a lot of those things, like, you don't want to just be doing them to check a box, right? Like,
or be so focused on like the number, like, because if it has to be measurable and time specific. I mean, generally resolutions are like year-long things, so there is a time, but like, I don't know, I feel like progress in the right direction is still kind of checking a box, even if it's not completely.
Well, that's where I like thinking of habit formation, because if like a habit is really just doing something so often that it just becomes natural to you. And so it's not like you don't have to necessarily set a goal of, I'm going to do this I'm going to work out for an hour a day.
Yeah.
But just like maybe start setting a habit of doing some type of exercise every day sets that, like helps to get that in your brain as a normal activity of your day.
One of my goals for last year was to walk every day that was warmer than -30. Now, did I succeed? Technically not, because there were some days where I was sick. There were some days I was overwhelmed. There were some days it didn't happen. But like, did it happen most of the days?
Yeah.
Yes. So
it happened more than it would have if you didn't set that goal, because I think probably a lot of it because of the temperature.
Yes.
Because it would have been very easy to say, well, it's -25. It's cold. I don't want to go outside. Yeah. But because you had like a specific, well, it's not -30, right. So.
And there was some days that were colder than -30 and we still walked.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where like the habit thing is. That's what that formed throughout the year, is it did form a habit of us going on a daily walk, or almost daily walk. Which
is something we like to do, but it's still also something that we weren't used to doing. So it was easy to forget.
Yep.
Even though we enjoyed doing it.
Or sometimes it was easy to be like, I just really don't want to leave, because, we just sit all day. I don't want to start walking yet. Some days. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I feel like by the evening, I'm usually like, I don't know if I want to go out now. Like I'm kind of done for the day, but it forced us to go out, and then we'd go for a walk. It's like, oh yeah, that was way better than just continuing to sit all day. So.
And we've gotten in a good habit of generally doing it shortly after lunch, which I think is a good time to go. And you can come back and have your cup of tea.
Yep.
So that you can get your 500 liters in for the 750. I don't know, aim for that this year.
# goals.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah. So you have goals. You have a word of the year. What else do you, like, is there anything else that you do kind of around January?
Not necessarily around January, but I set goals every January, every May, and every September, because I see the year separated into those categories.
So like New Year, birthday. What's September?
Academic year. So like,
no, I guess at homeschool. Yeah, makes sense.
And there's still that mentality from being in school and university.
Yeah,
that's the.
So it's the start of the.
And it works out perfectly that it's every 4 months.
I guess.
So that it like, yeah. So I set goals and then some of them are like, do this by the next goal setting time, and some of them are like year-long goals. I don't know. I'd be curious to like not set goals for an entire year, but I don't know if I could do that.
Life would just fall apart.
Probably. I don't know. Would I feel less I don't think I feel pressure for my goals. I get excited about them, but I don't think there's anything else I do in the new year other than reflection, like look back, like what goals did I achieve, which ones didn't, like did I not, like why didn't I, what was not so good this year, what, like I don't know, but like that kind of thing.
What would you like to do differently in the coming year?
And sometimes the thing I want to do different I have no control over, but it's still sometimes nice to acknowledge that, like whatever it may be. I think that's all I do.
It's more than I do. I mean, I feel like I get that like itch in January to change things, because I don't know why. It's just, it's a new year. You always feel like, it's going to be
new year, new you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you find out a week later, no, it's still the same me.
Yep. Still the same problems.
Yeah. Maybe I should make a goal to make more vague goals, because I feel like I have a hard time with that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure you do. Sure. Let's see that
next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty vague goal by itself.
Yeah.
Making a goal to make vague goals. So I'll check that box for this year.
Wow. Glad you've come so far.
Yeah. Progress.
Yeah.
I'll build a habit where I make a vague goal every year. Cool. Well, I think that's all our rambling about goals. Unless you have any other wisdom to share.
No.
Cool. Well, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can string together like a few.
Well, we have at least 3 more weeks planned out. I don't remember what they were now because we planned them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we had a plan.
We have a plan. Do we have a goal?
I do.
No, we did actually have a goal.
We do have a goal.
We do have a goal.
We have a podcast goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. See, and I think I made the goal.
Oh,
Did I make the goal?
You set in the goal. Yes, you did.
I did. I made a goal.
Do you want to tell people the goal?
Nah. Gotta keep them guessing.
Okay.
Do you want to tell people the goal?
Well, now I feel like we're blowing it up to be this big thing that it's not.
Well, don't make them think it's a big thing.
It's really big, guys. Yeah. It's really big.
It's really big deal. Gotta stick around to find out what the amazing goal is.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us again. We do have some plans.
Yes.
Some topics planned. So, and yeah, hopefully we can be a little more consistent going forward. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, if you have any goals or resolutions or habits that you want to share with us, yes, that you're going for, or you think we should, I don't know if we should ask for suggestions.
No, just tell us some
make
of yours.
A better podcast.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love hearing people's goals, so.
Yeah. Really. As a goal setter, you would like to, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, feel free to leave those in the comments, and that's it from us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.